campus. It's so beautiful area with different kinds of the flowers and a lot of trees. I could not tell the name. I never see them in China and in other countries. 10 days ago, I was in South Africa. It's also a very beautiful area, Cape Town and Johannesburg. And I think Costa Rica, the climate and the nature beauty and the different kinds of lovely, pretty, cute, the animals, oh, wonderful. In the airplane, the airport, I purchased the book about Costa Rica. I think this one. It's very funny and also very impressive for me. I met a group of Chinese photographers, a group of 6 people, and they took the same flight from Los Angeles to San Jose, but they took a flight from Hangzhou. I took a flight from Shanghai. So we met in the Los Angeles airport. I asked one of them, why you took a very long trip to Costa Rica? They eagerly want to take beautiful picture for animals, and it's a very famous bird. I think it only existed in Costa Rica. I know see them in other countries. Of course, not in China. I don't know how about the diversity in the neighboring countries in this region. I think ecological and environmental pretty good. I don't know about the other countries. I just come to Costa Rica. So my presentation this morning were about the smart or intelligent in some area, wisdom agriculture. It's almost the same meaning, but with a little difference. This afternoon, we'll discuss intellectual property. That means innovation. This afternoon, we'll discuss intellectual property. How to operate. That means innovation. This afternoon, we'll discuss intellectual property. New variety. This afternoon, in the agriculture area. So, in this morning, my presentation will be divided into 2 parts. First part were about some description of the smart agriculture in China, its development and its trend recently in Chinese society. Of course, you know, this area is a very, very broad area. For the most Chinese companies, universities will also take the try. I came from the USTC. Professor Liu, my colleague, gave a presentation. And we use the WeChat. It's not so popular in China, use Facebook or Twitter, but WeChat instead. And Alipay, that's a Chinese information technology. Professor Liu contacted with me by WeChat yesterday and asked me how about the food, climate, and the environment here. I replied to him, it's so wonderful, so great. I have the same impressive, very brilliant impression, just as Mr. Liu he had. And USTC, University of Science, Technology of China, is the leading and the top university in China, with a not very long history in the Chinese higher education, but with a very, very fast growth. I think it's the fastest growth in the Chinese universities. Also in the Asia, East Asian universities too. It was founded, established in the 1958 in Beijing, and in the later of the 1960s, it was moved to the east part of China, west of Shanghai, according to the National Science Technology Development Strategy. Now we live in the Hefei city. It's a new city. It's a high-tech hub in China. And I think it's similar to the Silicon Valley in the United States. So many different kinds of the cutting-edge technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, small, medium-sized enterprises in high-tech, almost everything related, connected with the high-tech. And from quantum telecommunication, and I think some of you have heard about quantum telecommunication. It's a new way in the communication. It's different from this kind of principle, like Apple or Huawei. Now they use the signal transmitted from place A to the place B. And the quantum telecommunication use different principles, use effects of the physics. Actually, it's a theoretical physics. The year before, actually in the year 2016, in the August, we launched the first satellite to the outer space to detect effectiveness of quantum telecommunication. 3 years passed. It was very, very successful. So I don't know. I'm not the information engineer. But most of the people, they believe the next generation of the long distance communication, telecommunication, will be based on the quantum telecommunication. It's a very safety in the very strict security to protect the privacy. So it was invented in my university, USTC. USTC is also very great in the other area, in the material science technology, biotechnology, and in the mathematics, AI, and so many areas. So, new technology, different kind of cutting-edge technology now, widely used in the agriculture. Because in this area, we know the land, environment, and the natural resources as the basic limitation for the growth of the agriculture. We could not to keep it at a very fast growth as we had before for the next 20 or 30 years. We must use new technology. I think for our developing countries, China and Costa Rica, we are the same. We face so many challenges. In China, we have very huge population and also urbanization and also traffic jam, like here. Yesterday, the morning, the flight was arrived on time, 6 o'clock. From the airport to the university. Yesterday was a Monday, so it's a working day. So many cars, the traffic. So from the airport to the university, almost 1 hour more, like Beijing or Shanghai. it's almost the same. Such challenges, how to solve these very serious challenges. I think there's so many, the method, the tools to solve or decrease that kinds of challenges. We can use the policy, legislation. Just like in China, policemen also stop by from the airport to the university. Several parts. The policeman with a car and to control the traffic and to stop some improper driving. Like in China, I think it's a regulation, legislation, and management. We can use that. But the more fundamentally, we can use technology because so many challenges actually originated by technology. So from the original analysis, if we use the technology, it will be more effective. So that's the idea. Use the technology to solve the technology-caused challenges. How about the technology? So many. You can imagine much more than I did. From smartphone to the satellite, from GPS to the blockchain. And now the blockchain used much often than before. And we can use the recognition of the technology and the face in the highway, the station, in the high-speed train station, in the airport, in the many occasions. Now the people can use the technology to identify different passengers. And we can also use this kind of technology to distinguish or tell the difference of tomatoes, potatoes, or strawberries. It's the same principle. Use the mathematical modeling. So that's the smart agriculture. We're based on different kinds of the new technology. For example, from this picture, you may find we can using the technology in sorting, in controlling, investigating, serving, and others. The farmers now, they are very often use the smartphone and the computing system, just like city, the villagers, like scientists, engineers, the same way in the using of new technology, from the broadcasting of the weather and also to the analyzing the elements of the soil and how about the moisture, the temperature, and the color. Professor Liu and Professor Huang and some other Chinese professors. And some you can use the temperature, the difference to detect the healthy of the plant. Now it's also widely used. Like Jianghuai, the company, they are very good in the horticulture and the variety of the fruits and the plants, different kind of fruits. So we can use the analyzing by the information technology and biotechnology and some other new technologies. And AI, artificial intelligence, now is so popular in the universities and other cities. I think in Costa Rica, it's the same case. In China, we are the same. So many young students, young people, they choose AI direction to conduct research and to be trained. And in this area, now, I think perhaps the most fastest development area, even in the social sciences, in the economics, in the law, policy, AI can also be widely used, not only in agriculture. In the service, it's the same. And I don't know, how about the payment in Costa Rica? Actually, now, in the recent 2 or 3 years, in Chinese cities and also countryside, less and less currency, I mean the paper currency, is used. More and more used online payment. Online payment, of course, with a supporting system of the AI. So, and from the machine and the recognition and the digital farming, digital industry, manufacturing, and also digital learning. Almost everything will be influenced by the AI. You know, in the classroom, it's the same. More and more materials and work and some other teaching method also greatly and widely used in the universities. And some aircrafts or drone used in agriculture and also used in the faster delivery. And the faster delivery is a very, very key affiliated industry with the agriculture. The farmers in the harvest the season, how to transport the different kind of fruits, vegetables to other places. Of course, use a faster delivery. And by the online booking, by the online reservation, and you can access the different kind of services and agricultural products in a very convenient way, very easy. So, like in Zhejiang University, in a greenhouse in Hangzhou, cucumbers grew with help of deep learning algorithm and the machines. Algorithm actually means mathematics. It's a mathematics model. And to judge how about the growth, how about the healthy, how the when to harvest, and almost every data will be collected and analyzed and controlled, distributed to some others, to the other experts. So, and some other automation, agricultural, and the different kinds, and also robots. I live in the countryside, in the tea. Actually, I grew tea trees. I make tea and the different tea products in China. You know, in China, it's different from Costa Rica. Costa Rica very famous in coffee. China very famous for tea. We conducted researches about how to use robots to help the farmers, to choose. And you know, the tea, we use the bud. To make a perfect or high quality the tea. It's not easy. Perhaps it's the most difficult task until now, because it's a different. The tea buds. The first you must use the color and analyze it, and to choose and to pick and to reserve. Comparing to the tomatoes, comparing to the Zhejiang University cucumbers, the tea much complicated. And you know, the tea bud very tender, easily be damaged. So the robots and the machine must be very carefully designed. Otherwise, high quality tea will be not produced for the market. I read through this book, and some other books about Costa Rica. In this very beautiful land, very great place to grow coffee. From the airport to the university, just along the highway, highway. There are also a lot of very good land, not cultivated, with some small hills and some grasses. I think it's a perfect area in Costa Rica to grow tea, the trees. Of course, I think the coffee is very, very great products here, very famous. I love coffee too. But the tea, this location is very good in the plantation of the tea trees. Not just about the latitude, climate, the rain, and the moisture, temperature, but it's also very good transportation and the logistics, the hub, in the South and North America. Because to the north, from Mexico, United States, and Canada, including the United States, a very big country in the consumption of the tea, and of course also the coffee. But the tea consumption increased. And to the south, Brazil, Chile, Peru, Argentina is also a very big country in the consumption of tea. In the Brazil, Argentina, Chile, mostly they consume the mate, that kind of tea. It's different from the tea from China, India, Kenya, Sri Lanka. It's different. So this location to the east, across the Atlantic, is a continent of Europe, another big market, very big market in the consumption of the tea. I purchased 4 bags of tea yesterday afternoon in the supermarket and tested. It's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. But there are still, in many aspects, to improve. With the new technology, the tea trees from plantation to the grow to the harvesting, the new tea garden will not use the traditional way. We can use the new method and to produce environment friendly, very good high-end the tea in the world here. Blockchain. Blockchain also very newly developed technology in the many areas, not just about in the agriculture, in the education, in the banking system, because blockchain actually to collect so many different kinds of the information together. It's an integration of the so many pieces of the different information, and after the integration, you can get a new information. Information can generate a different kinds of new information after your integration of them. So many fair pricing. How to price? The pricing of the agricultural products sometimes can be a very difficult issue. Professionals and economics calculated many pages and to calculate, and some new financial tools even be introduced in the agriculture area, like futures and options. And in the rice, in the corn, cotton, the futures widely used. And options can also be used in this area too. In the past, it's not an easy job after very complicated calculation, modeling, analyzing. But now we can use the blockchain and some other new technologies. I don't know how about the stock market or the future market or the option market in the Costa Rica, because I just arrived here about 30 hours. In the future, options, futures, and some other new agricultural financial tools that should be used. We can, based on the blockchain, the technology, it'll be much, much easier. Use a computing system, information system, and some others, mobile remittance for small farmers, and to help them. Modernizing farm management software, enhance supply chain, and tracing. Farm management software, enhance supply chain, and tracing. Farm management software, enhance supply chain. Very efficient supply chain. Agricultural outputs or outcomes will be decreased. Supply chain and farmers and tracing. Management software enhance supply chain. Very products efficient. So supply chain agricultural outputs with outcomes will be decreased. Supply chain and farmers and tracing. Management software enhance supply chain. Very products and some others. Supply chain. Supply agricultural outputs with outcomes will be decreased. Supply chain and farmers and tracing. Management software enhance supply chain. Very products. Supply chain. Supply agricultural outputs with outcomes will be decreased. Supply chain and farmers and tracing. Supply chain, supply agricultural outputs with outcomes will be decreased. Supply chain, farmers and tracing. Supply agricultural outputs with outcomes will be decreased. Will build a new type of city, just like the human beings with a brain, with a very good muscle, very strong, and with a very quick responses. And in Beijing, the smart city construction very fast. In every part of the world, China is a very safe country, but still there are also criminals too. Last year, the Beijing policemen use this way, big data analyzing system, and to build a modeling to trace the people with an unusual routine. During the rush hour, in the working day, from the 7 o'clock to the 9 o'clock, usually, the people rush to the office. Some people, their working way is different from the working people. It's not easy to distinguish by human beings ourselves, but it's very easy by the big data. From big data analyze the steps, they're walking the roads and the stop in the different places. The duration is different from the common people. So from that kind of analyzing, the Beijing policemen use this modeling very successfully to caught several thefts just by big data to analyze. University of Science and Technology of China, my university, I took the project. In that project, we help the policemen to caught criminals use that technology too, also use that big data. And we are very strong. USTC, we are very strong in the voice analyzing. And you know, just like fingerprint, everyone, I think everybody here is the same. The voice, the print is different. It's only one, this voice in this world. So technology as USTC laboratory, they can separate different kind of voices and to find the fundamental elements of the different people. That's the first step to separate the voice. And next, they can combine different kind of the voices to integrate the new voice. The new voice. That voice, perhaps just like very famous, the actor or actress. So you may find this technology, of course, is very, very important. If you use it in the practice, it will be very, very huge influence to the society. And now, this technology have been used in some very special area. 2 years ago, I was a leader of the projects in the big data to help the legislation and the policy making for the security of the community. And one criminal in Hefei, I mean in that new city, my university located in the city, the criminal of the crime, he escaped. Nobody can find him because he destroyed every document and different kinds of the identification. Just like the water, a drop of water evaporates in the air. So, if you were the policeman, how to finish, how to catch, how to put that criminal into prison, into the jail. It's very difficult. So, the new technology helped us. Fortunately, very small, very short piece of voice of that criminal was recorded from the telecommunication, the company. So, from that piece of voice in laboratory at my university, the researchers conducted research to separate and analyzing and to find its characteristics and the features of that criminal's voice. So they use and they choose several very obvious the characteristic data and dispatch it to other police departments. They want to get help. Just several hours later, it's a miracle. The Chengdu, the capital city of Sichuan province, the Chengdu police station, made a long-distance call to the Hefei, and they found several voices occurred in Chengdu, in that city, very similar, very in accordance with that characteristics dispatched by the early policeman. So very fast, that criminal was caught by the policeman from Hefei. So it's a real case, it's a true case occurred in our city. Without this new technology, without big data analyzing and voice separating, integration, and to find the characteristics, that case, I think, will be very, very difficult to be solved. Otherwise, that criminal to crime again in some other area, in another case, and was caught and detected by the other people. So it's very useful in the many areas, and also use web services, Internet of Things, IoT. Internet of Things means to connect almost everything in the world and be censored and operated by the operators. Internet of Things actually is a revolution, it's a new revolution in the agriculture. And also, I think the first use not in the agriculture, actually in the manufacturing area, in the public transportation, and also in the fast delivery, the industry. But now it's widely used in many other areas, like in the agriculture. We can connect different kind of things from the table to the car, from the tractor to the greenhouse, and to let the things connect, integrated, and to help people to make the modern agriculture more efficiency. So, and different kinds of the technologies, in China invest a lot in the smart agriculture and also in the biotechnology, the area. And a huge money invested, again, more and more every year. And that's the Chinese way managing. It's a company in Beijing. We took it as a case because it was a very small company, but they use technology. They developed very quickly, like this. They established the new type of the farming system for the public. Agriculture connected with other industries, with the tourism, with the education, with the exhibition, with some others, with science, technology, research, development. So different area will also be used, will be combined in the new platform. In Chinese, the characters means 开心农场, means to develop the new type of farming, the system. Some flowers, vegetables will be used in the different way, not just eating, not just for the cooking, but can be used in some other purposes, like this, in the office, in the apartment, and like this in the universities, in the kindergarten, in the zoo, in the different area. So enhance the link to the private agribusiness. Agribusiness is a part of the smart agriculture. So agribusiness in China and with more and more popular for the communities. Some post office, post office. It used to be just a fold to send the mail and to subscribe magazines and newspapers. But now, post office with new functions. Post office like a small banking, like a supermarket, like community service center. Why so many agricultural companies and other fast delivery companies, they are in favor of the post office? Because post office is a very good social network. It's a very good social network. I think in Costa Rica, it's the same case. And for the community, the services, post office, less and less mail will be sent. I think the people here in the last several months, you haven't sent the mail to your friends because it's not necessary. You can use the other way. So post office is also changing to the other business. So it's a case occurred in China. And some other seafood, how to sell the seafood in Xi'an, in Chengdu, some other big cities. Very huge. The seafood market usually be built very close to the airport because the seafood you must use a very fast delivery, the transportation. So airport we can design the future. The airport will not be just for the transportation. How to judge the best or the better or the common or the worst, the airport. If the airport, for the passengers, when the passenger arrived at the airport, they just eager to take the flight and to escape and to leave the airport. It's not good airport. It's not good airport. Actually, it's a supply chain, the hub. It's an exhibition, museum, also the conference center. Some big cities. If you take a trip to the big city to attend a conference, it's easier for you to take a flight to arrive at the airport of that city, like San Jose. But usually, it'll take you longer time from the airport to the downtown area to attend the conference. So more and more big city, they want to build airport area as the conference center, as a transportation and education, and also seafood, foods, and some other products distribution, the center. Revolving greenhouse. Actually, it's a patent of that company. It's a patent. A greenhouse, usually it's fixed. It's fixed and land. But, the sun actually rotates from the morning to the evening. So how to use that sunlight efficiently? So this company changed the greenhouse and reverting with the sun. In some area in China, we don't have so very flat, very good sunshine here. I think this season is a pretty good season. In the rainy season, it's not so many the sunshine. And in some area, without so many the sunshine, so the sunshine actually is a very pretty valuable resources you must take that sunshine to fully advantages in use. So rotating greenhouse to increase the efficiency. The situation, the real situation. China with a very long history of agriculture, very long history. And according to the historical record, the rice plantation in China can be dated back 6,000 years ago, very, very early age. Traditionally, Chinese agriculture, long history, but not so good in the efficiency and in technology. In the past 20 years, with a very fast growth in the economy and open reformation policy, agriculture developed quickly too, faster too. Some used to be considered as impossible agricultural products, and now produced in China in a very successful way. For example, like strawberry. Strawberry here, I think it's also very popular too. Is it right? Yeah. Strawberry, most of the Chinese strawberry actually imported, introduced from other countries, from the United States, Japan, and South America. In the Anhui province and in some other provinces, many professionals and experts thought there was not a good place to grow strawberry because the soil, climate. But with the innovation, with technology development, and particularly new varieties of the plant, and now the strawberry in China, in East China, is so huge, very good, very good. And almost 4 seasons. And I don't know how about the grapes here. Not so many. Grapes? Grapes usually be regarded as the plants or fruits grew in the dry and the cold the area. And in China, in Xinjiang, we are autonomous region, and in the United States, in California, it's a drought area. So in the southern part of China, it's close to the Yangtze River, the third largest the river in the world. The people used to be thought about it's not a proper place to grow the grapes because it's a very wet weather and a lot of water and the soil and the temperature difference, the daily, it's a very minimal. Most of people believe that the grapes should be planted in the area with the daytime and during the night time, the temperature will be hugely different. So it will be very helpful in the food suite. But with innovation, the new kinds of grapes are now also widely planted in the southern part of China, near the Yangtze River. It's very great. Some students, I met this training program in the last several years was held in China. I met different people from different regions came to Hefei and to communicate. And they tested the strawberry and the local fruits. 20 years ago, it was impossible. It was possible. So the plantation of the different variety of the plants, it's of course, it's a key, the elements in these kinds of innovation. propel China's agriculture, of course, will use the science and technology knowledge as a supporting system, because we are very in the shortage of the arable land, and also the population pressure. Recently, the population growth decreased according to the calculation. 10 years later, India and some other countries will overtake the China as the biggest population country. Now in China, the birth rate decreased rapidly, especially in the big cities. The young people, many, they will not to be married. Even if married, they don't want to have kids. They want to live very free, very pleasant life. I think also like in Costa Rica, it's the same case. It's a global phenomenon. It's really the challenge of urbanization. So you may find it's a very serious, very challengeable, the phenomenon in China. One hand, so many people moved to the big cities. And the other hand, in the farm area, in the countryside, less and less young people, they want to work in the countryside. I don't know how about, it's also the same. We should learn with each other, Costa Rica and China. Urbanization is a very big city in China. Costa Rica, the population, about 4 million. Is that right? About 4 million. Yeah, about 4 million. 5 million, about 5 million. And the Shanghai, with a population over 20 million. And Beijing, over 20 million. Even though more and more people still want to move to Beijing and Shanghai, at the same time, the countryside, the village, we call that the village almost empty. Only elders and the kids live in the village. So how to solve this social problem? Because urbanization means one hand, of course, it's just like the coins with the two sides. One hand, it's an increase the efficiency of the agriculture, because faster delivery, supply chain, and the supermarket community with a very highly integrated system. So in a very good efficiency. But you may find it's also the damage and also the waste of a lot of food. So just like the coins with a two, double edge. I don't know how about we Chinese people to solve this urbanization, this challenge. One policy is that to encourage the young students after graduation from the universities, the government encourages them to be entrepreneurship to the countryside and to set up the company or the startup in the agriculture. There are some, and with some preferential policies with taxation deduction, and also with some funding to help the new students, and with a very simple way in the application. The processing is a very simple, very fast, and it runs smoothly. in the government, public sectors. But still, the urbanization is a challenge. That's a Chinese legislation. We have a very important law. It's a science technology progress law. I was one of the 6 drafters of this law because as a representative of my university, I was chosen to be one of the drafts for this law. This law described that the state encourages, support basic application research, agriculture, science, technology, disseminate and popularize knowledge of agriculture, science, technology, speed up transformation of the achievements in agriculture. So you may find that it's a different level, The state encourage, support, research development, and more important, for technology transfer. Technology transfer, of course, is very the key, the issues in the agriculture, modernization, technology-based agriculture. Costa Rica, this university is a public university or private university? Public university. So, the university, every year, I think, we have so many different research groups and laboratories. Every year, science and technology, research, development in this university, I think it's pretty good. The achievements in the school or faculty of agriculture, it is possible to be used in the countryside or not. Can be used in the countryside. If the scientist here in this school, he or she conduct research and with a very good achievements. For example, they invented new kinds of the method to protect the banana or some other fruits in the preservation. So it is possible to transfer this kind of technology to the farmers, to the countryside. It's possible. It's possible. So the farmers must pay a lot pay. Not pay. It's free. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So without the payment, the funding of the researchers in this school, how can they get the funding? From the government, not from the market. Oh, it's a different. In China, it's not simple. The government funded research project. After you finish some achievements in the science technology research, you can apply for the patent and some other intellectual property. You can transfer that kind of the researches to the farmers, to the other private companies. You can get the royalty fee. You can get the royalty fee. But you cannot get all of the payment. University and schools and the research group. Research group, usually, you can get more than 0.5%, and the university and school will get less. So we use both ways in the transformation of the technology to help the countryside to help the farmers. So the inventors or the professors in this school invented the patent innovation funded by the government and to provide for the farmers without the payment. Is that right? Without payment. The farmers can get that achievements and use it freely. Is that right? So it's good. It's good. But perhaps, I don't know, perhaps how to keep this operation sustainably. That's the key issue. That's the key issue. Yeah, please.
But that depends on the project and the farmer, because if the farmers, they are more subsistence farmers, so the income is very low, then the university can have a project that is oriented as just pure extension or just like a type of social help.
Oh.
If it is a project that wants to be kept for a long time, there is a whole system to create like a license of technology. So that in that case, the university receives a percentage directly from the farmers, but farmers they are more organized and that they are also making profit. So one part goes to the university to keep the research and then to keep the project going on. I mean, it is not in all cases for free to call it like this.
Oh, yeah. You use a license system. Use a license. And use a license, you can keep that circle in substantial. Yeah, you can keep it in the longer time. You cannot just this case, and you can next year, even the year after next year, and also keep it. This improvement, I think it's good. This the professor, he's very famous in China. The father of hybrid rice in China, Yuan Longping. He's very famous. And with you know, the rice is a basic the food supply in China. Most people in China. So the annual production of the rice increased with this new technology, from the 500 kilo to the 700 kilo, even to the 1,000 kilo, so increase. At the same time, the quality is also very great, improved. From his presentation, he told the audience, his dream is that to invent the new kinds of the rice. Actually, it's a rice tree. And you know, rice actually is a grass. But in the future, he wants to invent the rice trees, very tall. And each grain, even bigger than the pillars. And the pillars are very big. And to solve all the people in the world, in the food supply. That's his dream. I hope his dream will come true. And many new technologies also used in the agriculture for the outer space exploration in China. We are very fast growth and pretty strong in the world. Many new agriculture products and the seeds be launched to the outer space, and it's a new way to invent, to improve the quality of the seeds. And this technology, and now also more and more popular, without soil, with a nutrition. It was invented in other countries, but now very popular in China, particularly in Shandong province, from the fruits to the vegetables, and when the first result in the supermarket, many people doubted, how about its flavor? How about its nutrition? And in recent years, now, I think most people accept and love it in favor of this new kind of products. And the different kinds of vegetables and the machines, facilities, infrastructures in the agriculture, handling this system to save all kind of things, to save the land, and integrate it in this house, and with a very huge outcome of the products like this, and some other machines, robots. It's in China, a Chinese research group, and conduct research. And like this, to picking robots in some farm area. For some fruits, vegetables is easy, but for some others, not easy. And like this, as a case study, it's my pleasure to introduce very famous Chinese Luan Tea Valley, because I'm one of the experts in designing and operation of this area. Shall we have a short tea break? Yes? Okay. As we'll have the case study discussion. So, of course, I give one presentation to introduce the background of this case, and also it's my pleasure to listen to you. So, we'll organize, I think, the 4 groups, okay? Okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So, 1, everyone here, every 2 here, every 3 there, every 4 there. Yeah. 1. So the close friends, you'll separate shortly. Yeah. 1. Yes. 1. These 2. These 2. I hope you see it closely so you can discuss. 2. Oh, 1. Okay. 1. Okay. Then 2. 1. Good. You 3. Yeah. Exactly. 3. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. You came from a different region. Is that right? Yeah. So my first question is that in your professional career, in your working experience, how about your attitude to accept new agricultural project? To make sense? In your working experience, in your professional career, how about your attitude to accept it's a new project in agriculture? For example, you are very familiar in the rice or corn, but now it's a new project about fruits, about watermelon. How about your attitude? Accept, evaluate, risk analysis, to make a plan, to make a design, consult with the professionals, other professionals, and step by step, how about your working process? Yeah. You may discuss. After that, each group will have one to tell the others, including me. Okay? Within 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes. good discussion, like in the MBA or EMBA class. Very good. Although I don't understand Spanish, but I am sure they're very good discussion. You have 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Tienen como, siempre dicen que es mejor el viejo conocido que el nuevo, también por la experiencia que tienen.
Good. Shall we start? We'll listen to you about your achievements in your discussion. Shall we start from the first one? Okay? From the first one. And then the third. You may have one representative. Okay? Good. Okay, please. We'll listen to the first one. The first group. Please, stand up. Please. The first, you introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, my name is Araceli Vázquez. I am an agrobiotechnology engineer. I'm from Mexico.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Which city?
Puebla.
Next year, I took a trip to Mexico. It's a very ancient city, very colorful city, not far from Mexico City.
Like 2 hours.
About 2 hours. Please.
In my team, we have different contexts in agriculture. My partner is from Cuba.
From Cuba?
He's from Costa Rica. And he's from Honduras.
Honduras.
Okay. Since we have different contexts, we think that we tried 3 different levels of farmers. So the first one is like in the base of the farmers, like people who don't know about new technology, and they are like afraid of the change, and they refuse to new projects because they feel, for example, in Mexico, we have a historical past about slavery, como esclavos, slavery. So they think people are going to steal their lands.
Steal land and be pressured by the new changing. Yeah. Okay, I understand.
Then the second level is about medium, kind of medium farmer, like the average farmer, that they want to change by step by step. So they assume some
very similar to this case. I'll tell you later. Yeah.
So they want to scale to new technology, but with taking some little risk. And then we have like the high farmers the third level, they have a lot of investment and they want to run risk to change and focus on specialty products because they think that kind of products are going to be more reliable. Cuba, for example, is his enforcement is to produce food, not to
and the tobacco.
So they don't want to make money. They want to feed people, and it's not the same in our countries because our people want to make money, and they forget about the food production. So that's what we think.
Okay. Anyone want to speak? No, it's okay. No, it's okay. He's a very good representative. Very good. How about this group? Okay.
Okay.
Please, and also first introduce yourself and introduce your teamwork.
My name is Micaela Navarrete. I am from Ecuador. I am an agricultural engineer. I work with people from Cuba and from Costa Rica. And in below the question to the acceptance to a new technology, we made the exercise to put in the place of a medium enterprise. So the first thing is to have information about the technology. So know if this kind of technology is really new in the country, or if there are some other experience on how it works, and also know if the technology is applicable to the country. So for that we plan to make evaluation, to make a risk evaluation, also the pro and cons things. Also, it's important to know if the enterprise is capable to apply the technology. So we need to think about the infrastructure, the technical personnel, also to make a test in the market to know if the technology could be accepted in the market, and also a pilot test for technical things, technical issues. Also, it's important to think about country regulation or policies. For example, for the quality, for the quarantine times, or something like that. Also, it's important to make an analysis of cost and benefit, because it's important to know if the technology could be really beneficial for the enterprise or the agricultures, and then take the decision if the technology could be implemented or not. That's all.
Anything you want to speak? No? Also very good teamwork, very good representative. Good. And Nicaragua. Ecuador. Ecuador. Oh.
Costa Rica.
Oh. Not far from here.
No, it's far because we are in South America.
Oh, South America.
South America.
Oh. Long trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Skill discussion. Skill. Yeah, very good. First, introduce yourself, and other next, introduce your team.
Okay, my name is Gabriel Guevara. I'm from Costa Rica. My Paola from Costa Rica too. Diego is from El Salvador. Okay, we need to see a data sheet for upfront. We need to review the competitive market in the city. And we need to make so many tests for make a decision and then implement the new tech. So,
several steps.
Yeah.
Several steps.
I think this is very good. Anyone want to speak? No. Evaluate. Evaluate is how to evaluate with some what kind of method have we discussed? The evaluate sometimes can be very difficult. Just like fruits, and you know the fruits during the tea break. I don't know. I enjoyed. I tested their fruits. The red, like an apple, but it's not apple. It's introduced from other countries, not original from Middle, Central, or South America. It's very popular in Taiwan and in southern part of China. I think in part of Guilan, it's not so sweet. It's not so sweet. But why? It's very popular in Southeast Asia. You know, usually we prefer the fruits, the sweeter, the better. Is that right? The sweeter, better. The watery, the better. But that kind of fruits is not so sweet. But it's more expensive. More expensive in Singapore, in China, in Japan, in Taiwan. It's in China, I think it even doubled price of the apple. Why? Because the culture with we call that overpricing. That kind of fruits, according to the Oriental philosopher, it's the human body in the Oriental philosophy. Human body consisted with two elements, yin or yang. Yin means the cold, and yang means hot. If that balance were broken, and unhealthy or sickness will be occurred, that kind of fruits, it's very good to keep your body, that two elements, and balance. So that's why it's more expensive than the price of the apple. It's my first time to see that kind of fruits in Central America. I don't think it's a very long time. About no more than 10 years. About 10 years ago, it's very rare to find it in the Costa Rica. No, I think. But now it's common. Not very common. Not found in the supermarket.
No, but in the country, in the fields, in the farms, there is so common
It's a new thing. Right. Good, very good to evaluate. The biggest group with the 6 professionals. Very good. Like a meeting, international conference. Okay, who?
Good morning. My name is Rosanila, and I am from El Salvador, and I am working with Costa Rican people. And we have identified that most of our farms.
From Costa Rica.
Yes.
Oh. You choose the other.
So we have identified that most of our farmers adopt new technologies when they see the benefits of adopting. So we think that in order to adopt the new technologies, we have to make alliance between public, private, academic, and communities, and also define, prioritize the activities and needs in the communities, in all the stakeholders, and also select groups and leaders in the communities, academic, and private and public organizations. Look for new alternatives of technologies, and also implement demonstrative blocks, and transfers this technology, the new technology, to the farmer. Exactly, because we need leaders, and the farmer need to see that the new technologies are working and they will get the benefits. So.
Good. Anyone want to speak? No. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think it's a very good discussion. This case is the real case occurred in the mountain area, one of the poorest the area in China. 20 years ago, it was a very poor area, very poor, because the mountain and very shaky. The infrastructure, transportation, is almost no access to go to that the deep mountain. So, how to change? The remote area, the farmers, with a very little education, just like Mexico, just like Honduras or Cuba, in your countries, in China, we are the developing countries, we are almost face the same, the challenges. The people, they are afraid of changing, they are afraid of new technology. Although they are very poor, but they don't know how to go for the next the step. 5 years ago, Chinese the government and promote the campaign. We call that poor elevation. It's a huge campaign in China because it's a big country with the poor population. Over 50 million, 50 million. In this region, we call it Dabie Mountain. One of the poorest the area in China. So, use what kind of method to solve this challenge? I ask you the question. It's a new project. We must to help the poor people. We'll use a different kind of method. Try our efforts. Use a technology, use a policy, use a management, and use a financial. The tools, different kind of way will combine together to overcome that difficulties. So, in the mountain area, do you think it's a good place to grow the rice? The rice is the most popular food in China. Do you think in that the mountain area, very poor area, is a good place to grow the rice? No. It's impossible. Because the mountain area, some rocky, very big stone. How to grow the rice? How about water? So, to grow wheat or corn in some area, you can grow the corn. But the production is very low, because it's, the land is not so good. It's in this situation, how to help the poor people. After discussion, after evaluation, like your teamwork provided to us, we choose the tea trees. Because the tea trees, it's originally from China. So the first, we must be very careful to introduce some other species, because with a different climate, different soil, and different temperature, so some original plants, it's easier. And the next, the tea trees, it's not very strict for the soil. In some poor area, in some rocky with stony, the soil, you can grow. In the rainy season or dry season, it doesn't matter, because the tea trees is not very tall, about 1 to 1.5 meters, about that tall. But the roots is very long, even longer than 2 meters. So it's not sensitive to the climate, the raining or drought, it doesn't matter. So you must choose the good project for the farmers. So how about next one? Just 1 or 2, you cannot to for the industry. That valley, about 200 kilometers long, is a valley. If you plant the tea trees in this area and not in that area, you cannot afford the industry. We, in agriculture, we must pay attention to the scale. The big scale, the bigger one, and you'll have more competitiveness, core competence. So, too small, you are very risky. So, along that valley, over 200 kilometers. This area, by high-speed train from my university, about 2 hours. I visited that area many times. I deeply involved in the designing, in the evaluation, in the choosing, in the operating, in that the poor area. So the first, you should choose different kind of tea trees. We know agricultural products should be combined and to strengthen your market competitiveness. If you just one fruit, for example, just one apple, so the flexible, the factor is not so good. If you have the apple and have a peach and have pear, so different kinds combined, you'll have the much more flexible market mobility. Just like seafood, If you have only one, just a fish, no shrimp, no sardine, no salmon, so it'll be very difficult in negotiation with the other big market or supermarket or some others. So in this area, we choose a different kind of tea used in production of green tea, and you know the green tea. Green tea, and how about the other tea? Black tea. Black tea. And how about the others? Just these two. Because you are very in favor of coffee. You don't drink tea. You don't drink. I understand. So, yeah. Green tea, black tea, yellow tea, white tea, dark tea, and oolong tea, and flower tea. Dozens.
Jasmine tea.
Yeah, yes, good. It's a kind of flower tea with a jasmine and some roses, with some rose and some. Yes, good, very good. You drink a lot of tea. So, with this combination, in this area, you'll have the tea trees, very suitable for the green tea. The others for the black tea, and so you'll have a very good design. You cannot grow all the tea trees in the same way. So the combination for what? Just for the outcome. To calculate the price, because the green tea, black tea, oolong tea, jasmine tea in the market is a different price. You should calculate with what kind of the combination you can get the maximum of the outcome. So it's a very long kilometers. Scope construction involves 5 counties, township, and reservoir. So along this reservoir, it's a very good water quality, and the tea garden. So in this area, what kind of products from your experience you should design for the farmers? It's a very good place for the tea drinks. The bottled tea, just like bottled water, because very good water, very good tea. So the tea and the bottled tea, and what kind of new products you can conduct research to enhance the income of the farmers. And I mean, what kind, the combination of the different kinds of products can keep the farmers become richer and richer. 20 years ago, it was a very poor area with a plantation of the tea. They can sell different kind of tea to the market, black tea, jasmine tea, and so they can get rich. But it's not enough. It's still very original, very fundamental. They just sell the raw material. How to increase the value of the products. Of course, the bottled tea, and the people come purchase in the supermarket, in the airport, in the university campus. So one bottle of the tea, the price, of course, more expensive than the raw material. The people, the farmer, of course, can get a lot of money. And the industry and the supermarket, they can also get the money too. So it's a very good industry, different industry combined together. The tea and the bottled tea drinks, how about the other products based on these, the tea garden? Do you like beer? Do you like beer? Yes, please raise your hand. You don't like beer? You like coffee? Have you tasted the tea beer? No. This is a tea beer invented in this area. With the tea, you can make beer. I will say English. We say some English, of course. This is the products for sports, and this for students, for young people. With the tea and to make beer, so the farmers can get the more money, and it's very popular. It's very good, very healthy. Why? Because drinking alcohol, to some extent, actually, with some harm to the body and to your liver, lung, and some others. Stomach, the alcohol is not so good for your health. But with some tea, tea is very good for your health. The molecules of the tea, which are very, very long, just like a long fence, and to keep the alcohol out of your liver, out of your lung. So it's a healthy soft drinks. Next time, if you visit China, it's my great pleasure to invite you to test this winter tea beer. Why use the winter tea? Summer, spring, you can use a summer tea or spring tea to make beer, but not perfect. During the winter time, it's getting cold. So the tea trees want to, against the cold weather, the leaves will concentrate sugar to pass the winter time. So the sugar contained in the tea leaves is very good in the making of the beer. So now, in the China, in some area, in the 5-star hotels, the people can enjoy this winter tea beer. There used to be the poor area, the people getting richer and richer, because not just about tea, about the tea, bottled tea, and also the tea beer. Do you have any good idea to still enhance the income of the poor people? To sell the different kind of tea, black tea, green tea, and the water, the bottled tea, and the tea beer, and some. Do you have any good idea?
Maybe.
Yeah, please.
I think like you are focused on products, but also they can sell like kind of services, like in Mexico, for example, in cultivars that are like beautiful, people want to get immersed in the process of the cultivar.
Cultivar.
The cultivar.
Cultivar.
So they also sell like tourism.
Oh.
So they can.
It's also a kind of drinks. A drinks. or a food to sell for the tourists?
I don't understand. So, let me explain a little bit. For example, I've never seen how do you harvest tea. So it's interesting for me to know, maybe because I live in a city, in a big city, and I don't know anything about nature. So you, in your area, in Luati Valley, I can obtain the experience of being immersed in the process of the production of tea production.
Oh, okay.
So it's not only the products
Based on tea.
It's the agrotourism.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. I introduce you later to combine tea tourism. Tea tourism. I just. And tea beer, and how about the next one? Tea cosmetics. And you know cosmetics. Because it's very good for, I think for the female, for the young girls and for the women. Tea is very good, very healthy. Tea is good for your skin and very good for your teeth. And the tea, very good for your eyes. For your eyes. So the new products, actually it's a products chain. Products chain. Even in China, new products is called tea tobacco, tea cigarettes, tea cigarettes, and some, toothstick can be also produced from tea trees. So, I mean, that's the production, the chain. With a different production, you can increase the value of that tea trees. And even more in medicine. In the medicine, for the medical care. From the abstraction of some biochemical elements within the tea leaves, some new medicine from the Taobao. You know the Alibaba. Have you heard of that? Yeah. Alibaba. Yeah. Just from that Taobao, you may find some products, some medicine, actually produced came from the tea leaves. One bottle of the tea beer, it costs about $2. About $2. The tea drinks, the bottle of the tea, about $1. Tea beer, $2. And one bottle of the beers, of the medicine, about 20, even more. So of course, upgrade the value of the tea trees. So that's the innovation of the traditional way in the agriculture. And you use a new technology, of course, organic. The people must reliable about their products. And they trust your products. You cannot use the chemical fertilizer. You cannot use the pest killer with chemical elements. So everything will be in the natural way. It's a new technology. It's a very typical tea trees. It's a tea trees. In this season, the farmers now they are very busy. very busy. Actually, I'm a tea master. I made tea. I made tea. I also make beer, craft beer. Actually, all my inventions and patents and to help the poor people, free. I don't want to get any money from the mountain area, the people, just for them use, free use. So it's also the tea trace to the source, to tea trace. Use a blockchain. Use a blockchain. I just mentioned. Use a blockchain. With information technology. Even from that beer, you can the trace in which area, in which garden that the raw material came from. So, just like the Mexico and the professional, she said, tourism. It's a tourism. It's now the former very poor area now seems very beautiful. Seems very beautiful. There was a tree. There was a tree in this place, and with redesigning, removed this tree, and there's a tea garden. And it's you may find it's very beautiful in China, Chinese culture with feng shui. Have you heard about feng shui? Yes, yeah, good. Feng shui means you choose a very good location, some the nature beauty with some social meaning. This feng shui is very good, like a dragon, and in the water. So this place, the tea garden in this area, the price is more expensive because this feng shui is very good. So, yeah, and tea house. The farmers now they operate the tea house and provide different kind of service to the tourists. This is an eco-tourist, tea culture, the STEM park. The farmers, they moved and to build the community, and to save the land, because land is very, very valuable. That's the tea garden too. That's the tea garden. And the tourism can combine with the education. The tourism can increase the income of the local people. In some area, the tourism can earn more money than the agriculture itself. But without the agriculture, the tourism cannot sustainable. But the tourism can earn much more money, just like in Cuba. In Cuba, all the visitors, they want to visit the factory of the cigar. How to wrap the cigar? Is that right? Yeah. Is that correct? Yes. Some of my friends, they take a trip to Cuba and to visit the factory. Handmade. It's a handmade, the cigar. So it's more expensive than the machinery, the cigar. So it's also a kind of project of tourism. Yeah. The most important thing actually is this one. This one. As the agriculture professionals, you are here. One of the most important things, you should have strategic conception. When you get the project, the first thing you should to broaden your perspective. The perspective means just like an engineer to design the machine, you must design this new kind of the project. Strategic, with a strategic perspective. What kind of thing you want to do? What kind of goal you want to reach? And how about investment? And the people may say, it's very difficult if you don't have the investment. If you don't have the money, you cannot do anything. Yeah. So how about the money come from? With a different channel. The first, because it's a poverty elevation, so the government must invest. And the next, banking system, you can apply for the norm. Norm is one kind of the method, but it's useful, but it's not enough. You can use the mortgage. Do you know the mortgage? Yes, yeah, mortgage or pledge. That means the farmers, yes, correct. Farmers use the land or use the futures and to sign a contract with the bank, and to get the money from the banking system. So that's the second way. How about the third way to get the money? To invite investors. How to invite? You must make very good plan and to strengthen the confidence of the investors. If the investor say no, the tea, I don't think the tea is a good product. I don't want to invest in this area because it's too risky. You must explain. You must make a very good plan, even to calculate, invest $1 next year. Even perhaps 5 years later, you'll get $2. So invest and outcome, investors. How about the other way? How to get the money for the agriculture? Some funding, including the FAO, Food Organization, Agriculture Organization, and UN, and ASEAN country, and China now, the Belt and the Road Initiative, with some money, some funding. How about the other one? You cannot rely on just one or two, the channel to get money. You'll have much more the ways to get the money. And from the stock market, from the market, And also you can discuss and sign agreement with guarantees, with a guarantee. Guarantee sometimes is very, very important. Your partner. For example, when you want to produce the beer, there are also a lot of risks too, because it's also very competitive. When you visit the supermarket, I visit a supermarket in the university, just across the university campus. There are different kinds of the beer from the different kind of beer. So it's also the risky. In that occasion, you must describe characteristics of your products. It's a unique advantages, and so it's a strategy and marketing. As agricultural professionals, we cannot just do one or two things. We should do more. I also found different kind of alcohol in the supermarket. Do you like alcohol? You like wine? Yes? How about the alcohol? I found different kind of with a high proof in that supermarket. The price of alcohol or spirits, the beer, the price is not very expensive, and the wine more expensive. The most expensive is spirits. And now in China, not in this region, in other regions, they produce the tea, alcohol, and some other products to enhance the incomes. So, new perspective, new strategy. We must use in the practice. That's just one way. I just tell you one way. From the tea, the drinks, the beer, and the cosmetics, medicine, just one way. And how about this way? You can do much more things. For example, functional teas. The tea, not just for the thirsty. And you can invent or conduct research and development to make the tea more functional. What kind of function? For example, some teas will be helpful in sleeping. It's a calm down. In some occasions, like in Professor Song's class, it's very boring. We want a cup of tea to make up. So we'll use some tea with to make your eyes open. And other kind of the functionalities, yes, so many. For the sportsmen, for athletes, what kind of drinks do you think is suitable for the sportsmen, for the athletes? It's not easy. During the Olympic Games, in the very big sports events, it's very sensitive for the athletes' drinks. Why? Because sometimes with the influential of the results, some people with some illegal illegal the medicine and to speed up the sports achievements. It's not good. So, but some people, some athletes, they are very innocent. They eat or drink some food or drinks, but with a detection, with a very, very sketchy. Korean athletes, I mean South Korean athletes, and some Chinese athletes too. Because with chicken and some Chinese medicine, traditional medicine like ginseng, and you know the ginseng? No? No, you know. You know everything. You know everything. You come from China.
From
You know everything. And ginseng is a very good Chinese medicine. It's a legal. It's a permitted. But if athletes drink the soup of the chicken and the ginseng, so it's very risky. They perhaps cannot pass through that very strict detection of the blood. So different kinds of the drinks, very sensitive. We can develop, we can research development the tea drinks with a function, with a different function. For the sportsmen, basketball, and yoga and swimming, it's a different because the muscle and the nerves and the blood vessel with a different movement, different kind of sports with a different movement. So we should develop the new products according to the different athletes. For the elders and the kids, do you think they'll drink the same tea? No, no. For the elders, for me, the old man, perhaps I drink very strong the tea. But for the kids, should lighter, because they are still in the groups. The bone and some other nerves, we should develop the very specific tea for the children. So it's a different, so it's a functional, the tea. How about the others? There are so many, From the tea table, to the tea cups, to the tea towel, to the tea suit. And in some occasions, the drinking tea is very formal, very ceremonial. So the tea suit and some tea facilities are required. If you want to keep the tea for the longer time, you should use totally fermented tea. That kind of tea can keep even 100 years longer. So that kind of tea, how to preserve? You cannot put that kind of tea in a very moisture, the circumstances. So that kind of storage and preservation can generate the new industry. So just from that small, the piece of the leaf, your perspective will be broad. And from vertical and horizontal, you can generate or develop so many different kinds of the industry based on tea trees. So that's the agriculture. It's a smart, it's a modern, the agriculture. Even some tea restaurants for the vegetarian people, and also for the common people. Some bricks made from tea, even compute architecture, computer office, some table, some chair. Yeah. I think next time if you visit China, you'll have the opportunity to visit some factory. They just make the tea table, the chair, and almost everything. The wall, the whole wall, made from tea. Made from tea. That's the room, very fragrant, very fragrant. If you're thirsty, just with some tea. And so many things, so many things. And other industry where we also involved, like exhibition, conference, exhibition, seminar, education, training, all that kind of business, it can generate the new profit. Hundreds of the companies, they want to compete. And this garden say, just like a winery, this winery with a very good wine, that winery in Napa Valley in California, very good wine, and also in Chile and Argentina with a very good wine. They compete. And standard exhibition and receiving the award and the magazine and the conferences, symposium, that kind of business, very, very active, very active. In the fruits, in the coffee, I think in coffee in this area, also very active. In Latin America, it's the same, the case. So, with a very broad perspective, with a long-term designing, and the lexicon, also very important, just as the friends, you said, how to evaluate. Evaluate what? Evaluate opportunities, evaluate the challenges, risk control, how to control the risk. After evaluation, and of course, most important, to careful manage. Management is, of course, the key issue if you success a lot. So many projects not success, they are failed. They are failed. Many reasons, but mostly it's not so good in the management. Sometimes you foresee the international market, like a coffee, international market, vibrant. Colombia, the coffee is very good, and in Africa, Ethiopia, and Tanzania, some other countries, because the climate is changing. So every year, the market vibrates. When you design, when you make a decision to expand your coffee, the production, you must carefully forecast and calculate. You should introduce the new ways to help you, like futures and options. I don't know how about you knowledge about option and future. Have you used the option before? Everyone here, I think you should, after training program, you should read some books or articles about the futures and options. Options is very helpful, very helpful. In the tea, it's the same, it's the same. Like beans, like cotton, rice, it's the same, because there are a lot of risk in agriculture. When we use the options, we'll decrease our risk. So, with this different management, you can have much more confidence for the production, for the market. Of course. Technology is the key issue. But please remember, technology is also a kind of risky too. If we use a technology like iCloud, big data, when we invest a lot to build very good platform, and we get a banking support, we get a loan with a mortgage, we collect a large amount of money to invest to build this smart agriculture platform. Do you think is there any risk? Yes, of course. Risky existing everywhere. So, if new technology breaks through in some area, the platform you still under construction perhaps will be useless. When this iPhone invented, the cell phone, disappeared rapidly. Some Chinese company, Japanese company, invest a lot in the traditional cell phone. A lot of them, they were bankrupted. So there's still some risk. We must, first, with a broad perspective, with a long-term planning and risky control by management, with a very good management, and use a flexible way. We cannot just use one or two the channel, particularly in the financial system. The crisis in the financial crisis with just like a wave, with a very huge influence to our agriculture business circle, because some area, although in the manufacturing, or the real estate, in that area, just like an ocean, that kind of wave, and the mood, and the influence, the agriculture. I don't know how of the bubble in the Latin America, in the real estate, I mean the property. Do you think the housing price here in Costa Rica, in San Jose, is very high or affordable or reasonable? Very high? Very high? Pretty high. So be alert. In China, in some big cities, very high. Very high. It's not a good thing, because a large amount of money invest in the industry, I mean the real property, real estate. In Shanghai or Beijing, the housing price even much more expensive than that of New York and Tokyo. So, in agriculture, in this area, how to solve or decrease the risk of the financial risk? As a professionals here, we must carefully design and to make a plan. I think the better one is that to attract the money from other industry, from real estate market to agriculture area. We should build agriculture funding, old agriculture, the poor, and the poor, just like a swimming pool, The swimming pool means we just like a reservoir to attract more and more water to flow into that reservoir or swimming pool, just like in our agriculture area. If the money not flew into the agriculture and flew away to other industry. That means the dangers of agriculture. So, from financial analysis, the more financial tools we will use, the more money will be attracted. So, the modern, the smart agriculture professionals, you must be very skillful financial experts. So, if you want to do anything without money, you cannot do that. So, including this case with a different technology, with a different the method and the different products, the line, the money is very helpful in this case. So I think it's this morning, the presentation, the case study, and the discussion. Thank you. Thank you. This afternoon, we'll start